Welcome to another On the Rocks podcast with Tracy and Angie. Today we have a wonderful guest, and his name is Roger Thomas. And he, believe it or not, when you see him, he is 85 years old. He has survived a cancer. He is a power lifter who has a championship award here for lifting. What is it? 350, 500 pounds?
No, that was a record. 415 pounds.
415 pounds. And this one particularly was what, 1997?
Yes.
So that was like, what, 30 years ago or something like that?
I was 58 years old then. Yeah.
How big were you then?
50?
I weighed 230 pounds at that point.
230, and you benched what?
415.
415.
The most I had benched lifting weights was 500 pounds, 2 reps, 2 sets. I was at a powerhouse gym in Farmington Hills, Michigan when I did that. And my son and a friend of mine named Bilal Muhammad were spotting me at the time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible.
It's a miracle to see this. And this was in 1997. So now we're in 2025. Okay. And he's now 85 and he's still lifting these incredible amount of weights.
Now I'm doing a different form of weightlifting. I'm doing bodybuilding thanks to a man named Michael Keith Coulter, who is my trainer.
Okay.
I met him when I moved to the Daytona area 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I see that you have many other trophies and awards. So tell us how you got to be living such a good life at this age where you have no trouble, it seems, bending, walking, talking. Yeah, everything is together still at 85, which we want to know how. I want to know how.
I've had to come through some things.
Haven't we all?
So following the powerlifting stuff I used to do, at the age of 63, I ruptured my shoulder and the pectoralis on my left side. The surgeons couldn't fix it, so I just let it heal on its own. And then but it healed, and I was able to lift. I went back to empty bar and all that and built it back up again.
How long did it take to heal?
Maybe
year?
six months to completely heal.
Okay.
So by the time I was 65, I guess, so it had healed. And then my wife and I moved to Florida in 2006. And in 2015, it was discovered that I had colon cancer. Dr. Hugar McNamee was my surgeon at the time. He's over in Wesley Chapel, just near Tampa. And I weighed 230 pounds still, and I was pretty muscular. I think I had maybe a 20% or 18% body fat on me. And the doctors told me they had never seen anybody my age look like me before. And so,
I can believe that.
Following this,
as a nurse,
as you are now.
Nope.
So following the surgery, I asked him, "Why are all these doctors around me, around the table?" There were doctors from Cuba and everywhere on it. And so he said, "Well, no one has seen anybody like you before, and I've got to tell you, when we opened you up, you were like a 16-year-old, all your organs and everything." And they asked me, "You must not drink." I said, "Well, back in the day, in my 20s, I used to drink a lot, partying with some of the Steeler football players and Pirate baseball players, Willie Stargell and all those guys. I was around a lot of athletes. And I knew Charlie Cooper and Maury Stokes and a lot of the guys that most America has heard of.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I was younger. My cousin Harry Conrad was a close friend of Bill Nunn. He was his best friend, matter of fact, growing up. And so the older guys took me under their wing and let me hang out with them and so forth. So I had a lot of angels in my life. I'll put it that way.
Amen.
My cousin May Louise married Willie Mays.
Get out.
Wow.
And I could go on with stories like that. But so I drank a lot during those times. I got married. And then when I moved to Michigan in 1977, I became very busy as a social worker. I didn't have time to drink. I had three little children. And so I was busy working a lot doing social work. Mm-hmm. And I had a practice in Birmingham, Michigan, Livonia, Michigan, and in Southfield, Michigan. Plus, I had contracts in Detroit. I did an OD workshop for Wayne County Health Department back then. I was very busy. And so drinking wasn't on the schedule, put it that way. And I got used to not drinking. So at age 42, I went to the doctor because I had gotten accustomed to just listening to people, their problems and so forth. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't active. And the doctor told me that he needed to give me statins and blood pressure medication. Of course, knowing about medicine like I did, because I used to do inpatient group therapy at one point, I decided, no, I don't want the medication. I ate one red grapefruit a day, and my cholesterol got normal within 1 month. I joined Vic Tanny's and was doing circuits. And one day while I was doing the circuits, Johnny Lujack, who used to play quarterback for Notre Dame, was managing his gym. He came over to me and said, "You look bored doing the circuits." At that time, I had all the weight on the circuits, and I'm going 4 or 5 circuits before I got tired. So he said,
"Wow."
He said, "Let us teach you free weights." That's what I wanted to do in high school, but my father was a Golden Gloves champion in Pennsylvania, and he didn't want me lifting weights when I was younger.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So consequently, I never did it. A lot of my buddies did, and some of them played great sports, great athletes, but that wasn't.
Did you get into boxing?
When I was younger, I had to, because just
Dad.
to survive.
Well, we get that, but I mean, for money.
But otherwise, no. Otherwise, no.
Okay.
I got into boxing and learned a little jiu-jitsu, things like that for survival, but I didn't get in it for a professional thing or anything like that.
So how old were you when you first competed?
So Johnny Lujack and those guys had me doing a bench. I swear to God, I could only do 70 pounds bench. That was it. And it was funny because I was used to doing gymnastic stuff. I could always do that, pull-ups and dips and all those kinds of things.
Flips?
Oh, yeah. I was able to do those things,
flips.
as a youngster,
Yeah, well.
When I was in 3rd grade, we had Dr. John Brewer was my phys ed teacher, and we had what they called back then a stunt team, gymnastic team. And we did all the stuff, hand walks or whatever we could do. And so at this point, let's see, I'm 42 years old.
And what year is this? 42. What year were you?
So we're looking at 1981 or somewhere around there. I'm guessing. I'm not doing the math right now. So what happened was I progressively started doing the weightlifting. By the time I turned 50, I was benching 500 pounds, 2 reps, 2 sets.
Wow. Jesus.
And I was a guy who was licensed with the AAU came to me and says, "You need to go to Wide World of Sports because your warm-up is more than the darn record for your age group." They started pestering me about that. It was a powerhouse gym in Farmington Hills, Michigan. And matter of fact, one of the guys who was part owner of it, or he may have owned it, told me he used to work out with Columbo and Arnold Schwarzenegger in Venice Beach.
Wow.
And how we got into that conversation was he was really thick, about 5'8", very muscular guy. And he had scars on his arms. And I asked him, what happened? Do you have keloids or what? He said, "No, the true story is Columbo and I were working out and we were taking Dynabol and all that stuff, and it makes you crazy. And I was trying to do curls with 315 pounds. And I did some reps, but then all of a sudden my elbows came loose and I hit the floor. And the EMS took me to the hospital and they sewed me back up. And that's what that is.
Oh my
What is
gosh.
it? What is a Dynaball? Is that steroids?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, horse stuff. They used to give it to horses, you know.
Horse. Well, I take ivermectin for horses.
So a lot of
does that
guys-
matter?
A lot
Did
of
you
guys
ever- did you ever go
A lot
down?
of guys in professional sports, especially the big linemen in football and the weightlifters back then, they used that.
Oh yeah, they all did.
Yeah.
But did you ever use steroids at
I've
all?
never used anything. The only thing I used was protein drink, and that was it. And L-carnitine. Because that somehow gave me
Is that
energy.
what it is that's keeping you so
I would put half of that in water.
Got to be what it is. L-carnitine.
L-carnitine.
Team.
It's different than creatine. You know, it's
Creatine,
different. They're
yeah.
very different. Carnitine, it gave me a lot of energy, you know, and it keeps you lean
They still
for some
sell that,
reason.
right?
Oh, yeah. So
Remember that.
How many grams of protein would you eat do you eat in a day?
nowadays,
Yeah.
to keep my weight, at 200 pounds or 205, I do 200 grams of protein every day.
200 grams. That's a lot. Of protein.
So I use protein drink and,
So you use
and
protein
perfect
drink and
amino
alternative-
acids to
do you
do that, to
mostly
keep that
do
together.
protein drinks and protein bars, or do you eat real protein? Because I'm a favor
I eat a lot of
wanting
chicken.
real protein,
I eat a lot
real
of chicken.
meat.
I eat a lot of chicken or fish,
Okay.
sardines, a hamburger, whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
Rather
I mix
than
it all.
the
I mix
protein
it all up.
mixes.
Right.
Yeah, so I do one in my coffee, protein, but then I rather eat real protein all day. Like
Well,
that's
it's better to do that.
oh, it is okay.
Yeah. But
What kind of
especially because you don't get the calories.
Right.
You know what I mean?
what kind of protein do you use? Whey?
Yeah, whey protein when I use a protein drink. So I try to stay at least around 200 grams of protein every day. I don't always do it, but I try to
Now, along with the
because I drink a lot of water.
oh, so that a lot of water you do.
A lot of
See,
water
I've
because
been
I
not
take
drinking a lot of water lately.
creatine monohydrate also.
I've been drinking this stuff, which is it's like a tonic water with it's got
Yeah, it's
water
good for
with
cramps.
fuzz.
It's good for
Yeah,
cramps.
but it's got zero everything else in there except it's got stevia leaf.
Does it have quinine in it?
No quinine in this,
Okay.
but I've drank tonic water with quinine quite often.
That helps keep you from getting cramps.
Okay, so
As you get
did
older,
that
all
the
these
time.
surprises show up, you know.
Yeah.
How much
You're young yet. You don't know.
No, I'm not that young, honey.
You
How
know.
much water would you say that you drink a day? Do you drink half your body weight, like 100 ounces? Then I guess.
I never counted them, but in the gym, I know I go over a gallon.
Wow.
I drink
Wow,
water
that's
in between
so
all my
much to
sets.
drink.
And I'm peeing all the time in the gym. And that helps, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's
why your
for
skin
sure.
looks so great.
Yeah,
so
I mean, not
very
only
well
are you fit in the
hydrated.
body, but your skin and your face looks like young.
Well, I'm trying to keep it together. baby.
Yeah, you're doing good. You're doing real good with it. I'm telling you, I'm like shocked. It's like phenomenal. Like
That
I'm
runs
not
in my-
even sure I
that-
believe you're really 85 at this point.
But it runs in my family.
Like maybe
though.
we should see his like driver's license and cut out all his info and just to make sure he's.
That's because I'm a mongrel. I was telling him coming over here.
I'm a mongrel too, though.
See, I got Italian cousins. My grandfather on my dad's side was Welsh. My grandmother was Scottish and African mix. And I got a relative all kind of.
Yes, the us
They're
like
everywhere.
us.
My mother was part English and everything. So,
Yeah.
so, you know.
When we're all that conglomeration of everything, that's I think what keeps us young and fit and
It's like the dogs. They last longer, the mongrels, right?
mongrels too. There's no problem with mongrels. It's all those hybrid ones, hybrid.
Yeah.
They're a pain in the ass, right?
Right.
So listen, we go with the flow. I feel like a chameleon. I could fit in any avenue I need to fit into, and so that's my mongrelness coming out. Because I am a little bit of everything as well.
So so I wasn't into bodybuilding until I moved to Daytona. But I always took care of myself. For instance, when I lived in Lake Javita, which is near Tampa area, in Dade City, around Dade City, on the days I didn't go lift weights, I would walk 5 miles and I would go to the monkey bars and do a lot of pull-ups and dips, and maybe 100. So, so I stayed in shape that way.
Amazing.
And then when I moved here, I ran into Michael Keith Coulter, as I told you, and I work with the team called Trust the Process, TTP Fitness. And there's a group of us that work together, and he sees us all the time, working
What
in the
gym?
gym. Crunch. We go to Crunch Gym, but I've been to just about every gym around. Because I'm old and I have sneakers, so I can go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. Why not? So now, when did you meet Jason that's here?
A couple of years ago, right? Yeah, at Crunch Gym.
Yeah. So I thought we would just do the 3 interview, but I'd like to take a little break later on a little bit and then get him in here.
That's fine.
Because I'd like to hear what he's,
I wouldn't be here
I
without
know what he's
for
told
Jason.
me. I'd like the people out there to know what he's told me about finding you.
Okay.
And how phenomenal he couldn't get over, how impressed he was. And he's a gym guy. He works out and he trains people all the time. And for him to be impressed like that, like he was like almost like, he just was
As it turns out,
almost.
I think it's
A bromance for sure was starting there. I'm telling you. So we got to get him on for this intertwining bromance that's going on here now.
Yeah, people are always telling me, man, what you're doing, no one else is doing, and I never think about it that
At
way.
your
I'm
age.
just doing my thing.
Yeah, I mean,
And the secrets that you have, I want to know what keeps you like this. So what age was it you stopped drinking? How many more years do I have that I can continue to drink is what I want to know.
Well, I never had anything against alcohol and pot smoking and all that stuff. It's just that I got so busy, I quit. I didn't have time.
Yeah, well, I get that.
And it turned out to benefit me.
Yeah, well, of course, it does.
So after the cancer, Dr. McNamee said to me, no more sugar.
Sugar, that's the big one. I don't do sugar.
So my normal weight
Well,
used to
I've
be
been doing
around
more sugar.
225. Now I'm down to around 200 because when you quit doing the sugar, you lose weight.
Yeah,
It made a big difference.
yeah.
So they weighed me at Crunch. And at one time I was 204, 12% body fat.
wow.
They were saying, we never see anybody. I mean, your
Yeah.
age with all that muscle. He said, you're almost all muscle.
You are.
I
I
said,
mean,
well,
literally, when
but
you
it's
showed
from
me
my
the
routine.
video,
I've been doing that consistently for a lot of years.
It's amazing.
Yeah, how many years would you say?
Well, from
consistent?
42 to now, I'm 85.
42.
That's
Jesus,
a long
I've
time.
missed out on
lifting
20
weights.
years.
Yeah, that's a long time. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenges with
And that's
it.
the one thing I don't enjoy it,
Yeah.
but I force myself to do it. That's why I hire him because he pushes me to do stuff that I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, I don't. He goes, come on, 5 more. I look at him like I want to kill him.
What's important?
It is important.
Yeah, according to some of the research, to live, you need grip strength, you need lower body, you need muscle,
Yeah,
and you need VO2 max, so your lungs are good.
yeah.
If you don't have those 3, you're going out earlier.
See, right now I have a bad hip
Yeah.
that's going on, and it's like I really need to get a hip replacement because
A lot of people
that's
get
what's
that.
hindering me from really doing more than I have been doing because
I
of that
understand.
pain.
I've
but-
been fortunate that way.
yeah,
I quit
yes.
I used to, when I worked with emotionally impaired children in Michigan, what I would do was take the teenagers and I would run, but I would do 40s instead of long distance. I would do 1 lap around, 400 meters, and then we would do 40 sprints like they do in the NFL. I do 14 40s as fast as I could go.
Yeah,
And that kept me together.
that keeps your lungs and your body moving together. And
so I
that's
did
a
that
great thing to
regularly.
do,
I haven't
yeah.
done that in recent times.
Yeah.
But I can still run and jump and do the things I'm
Do you
supposed
do
to
cardio at all?
Not much.
Have you ever
just
smoked?
lift.
No.
Never.
I was against it. My sister and I are both against it.
Wow, that's
My
amazing.
father smoked enough for all of us. So,
it's
so I didn't want to smoke. I hated it.
I smoked so much in my younger years, and even to my older years. I mean, I only quit like 10 years ago, and so. But the difference from then till now is amazing.
It'll compromise your
Unfortunately,
body.
I wound up with COPD and emphysema, but I'm in a good way with that. And my doctor keeps wanting to push me on, breathing this and taking that. And this, she gave me this inhaler that's got, I got to rinse my mouth out afterwards because it can cause thrush in my mouth. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. What is it going to do when it goes down my throat into my lungs if I'm washing my mouth out? I'm like, I'm not taking this shit. I told her, I'm not doing it. Don't do any medications that I feel, I don't like to do any medications at all. If I have to, if I have a headache or something, then I will. But other than that, I don't like to put anything in my body other than maybe a glass of tequila. But that's straight tequila. I make sure it's mostly organic. That if I'm going to drink, that's what I'm going to do. But I don't drink a lot.
I used to like my wife lived in Mexico for a while. Her father was head of Celanese Corporation there. And so when we'd go to Mexico, tequila was widespread, right? And I love tequila, but that puts me to sleep.
Oh, really? See, it does the opposite because tequila is really a go-getter. Like when you drink tequila, it actually curbs your appetite. And it also makes you like high or like, not high, but want to keep staying, and going, where vodka is the other end of that.
I had just the opposite because it didn't curb my appetite at all.
Yeah.
But I would get sleepy if I had tequila, so I don't bother any of it.
Well, if you have too many tequila, of course. It's
No, I'm talking about it didn't take much. Nowadays, because I don't drink,
a
couple of beers, I'm high as a kite. It's like I was a teenager again,
Yeah, that's
kind
so
of
funny.
weird.
Are you on any medications?
You kidding? No.
No, nothing.
No blood
No, because
pressure,
when the
nothing.
Blood pressure?
when the doctors wanted to give me medication, I said, hell no.
Yeah.
I said, I can fix this. So when they wanted to give me statins, I ate one red grapefruit a day, and 1 month my cholesterol was normal.
Wow.
And my internist at the time, her name was Helen Way at the time, when I showed up with the blood work, she says, what are you doing? I explained to her what I was doing. She said, I got to tell my husband about that because doctors generally don't keep up with all those things. They just want to give you the medication.
Exactly. I agree. The holistic
And my
way.
recent doctor, I'll tell you how funny it is. This is a guy, he's in Orange here. And I went to see him because something happened with my other doctor. And first day in there, he looks at me. He says, I guess he's looking at my chart, my age. He says, you want TRT? So I acted stupid on purpose. I said, what is that? He says, it's testosterone replacement therapy. I said, what do I need that for? Well, I said, I'll tell you what. Let's do another blood test for that. And if it's real low and you think I need it, then okay, well, I'll consider it. I won't say I'll do it. I'll consider it. So I go ahead the blood test, right? Came back. And while I'm sitting there waiting, he looks at me and he's looking at us on his stool, He says, your testosterone's higher than all the guys I have on TRT.
Oh, wow.
I said, well, I lift heavy weights. That's why. I said, if you go to the gym and lift weights, you won't need it either.
Really?
What I said to him.
Yeah.
He tried to get me on.
Try to get. Well, they all try to get you.
I said, no, I'm not interested in the medication. So I haven't seen him since.
My mother was that way as well.
Pissed off,
She always they told her she was a borderline diabetic. She needed to go on this medication. She said, I'm not taking any medication. She said, I'll just stop eating M&Ms at night. And that's what she did. And her, sugar and everything went down. So it's like right away they want to put you on medication. Like with my lung doctor, she's trying to put me on all this stuff. I'm like, no.
There are so many things that can affect you. I remember
there's
this
so
was
many
last year.
side effects.
I was eating a lot of eggs for protein. Like 5 or 6 eggs each time, that kind of thing.
That's what they were saying to do, right?
So look at my blood test. I said, whoa, my A1C was going up. It was on the edge of getting high, right? It was still within normal, but the high normal. That never happened before. So I started going to research, find out eating too many eggs will cause the A1C to go up. Who knew that?
I did not know that.
So I cut back the eggs,
Wow. That's amazing.
So I'm fine. I mean, they would tell me, your blood pressure's too high. I said, well, it's fine. I'm not getting eggs. I'll be okay. I know what to do with it.
Yeah. That's right.
so-
You know your own body better than anyone else knows your own body. Your body. You know what I mean? And so for me, I feel this way. Like if I know what's wrong right away if something's off on my body, where a lot of people don't pay that much attention to what is going on with them. So like I know this doesn't feel right, so something's going on. So either I got to stop this or eat more of this, or I'm not getting enough protein, or I'm not getting enough vegetables, or I could feel it in my body where a lot of people don't know that.
The other issue is the sedentary behavior causes a lot of issues in people. A lot of issues. Too many to even talk about.
Right.
And so the body was meant to move in some way. Mm-hmm. And I don't suggest everyone to get into the weightlifting like I do, because I do it at a pretty high level. But they need to do something.
Yeah.
In order to cut back body fat and things like that.
Have you thought of writing a book to
No,
describe and tell all this?
I never thought
Well,
about
I think
it.
you should, because at your age and to look as good as you do,
It's like you found the
it's like
fountain of youth or
we
something.
the people of America who want to know what to do to stay like you.
This is long over.
I eat a lot of.
Yes.
I eat a lot
It
of.
really is.
I eat a lot of arugula. I like a lot
Oh,
of
I
greens.
love arugula.
I don't do many. I don't do a lot of fried foods.
Yeah.
My wife does a really good job with me in that regard.
Oh, that's great. So you are married with your wife is
Yeah, 25 years. This is my second marriage.
second marriage, 25 years. Oh, that's
Right.
awesome.
And so she's,
Keeps you in order.
she was worried about, you're going to get hurt, like a lot of women might do, because all the crazy lifting I do. He can tell you.
Of course.
He's seen
yes.
me.
Which we
But-
are going to bring him on in a
But
minute.
it's fun.
How long
I
are your workouts when you work out? Like you work out for an hour or
About an hour. Yeah.
Hour.
It
Every
depends.
day or 5 days a week, or
I'm
on
vociferous.
two, off
so
one?
it depends on how much I talk, clown around, right? But otherwise, it's about 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
No more than that. Don't need any more than that way at the intensity.
And do you do
with
like
which I work.
like back and buys, chest
Well,
and
today I
ties?
did.
Like,
Today was back and buys, and we were doing like 240-pound pull downs and stuff. And I did supersetting with pull ups and things like that. I can still do all that stuff.
Do you incorporate a lot of cardio?
I don't need to.
No.
I'll do deadlifts. And I might go up to 300-pound deadlifts, and I'll do those things, and that's enough. My heart rate's up.
Well, yeah, I would say that would raise your heart
Yeah,
rate.
Sure.
For sure. So now explain to us what each of these trophies that you brought here
Oh,
are,
yeah.
and then we'll take a little bit of a 5 minute and set up for our
when I
wonderful
first-
workout guy, Jason, to come
my
in.
first bodybuilding show a couple of years ago, Mike Matassa was Daytona,
oh, Mike. We
and
know.
We know Mike.
Yeah.
and so I show up at that, and I got second place. And one of these is for that. I don't know which one is for that or not, because they all look similar. Which one is this? This is my first place, and that was later. So I think it's this one. This one here.
Oh.
I
Got
don't
a
know.
lot of them.
I don't know how
Got
to
a
show
lot
it.
of them
I'll
out
show it
there.
to you.
Look at that. Right there's your camera.
Oh, okay.
There's your camera right there, too.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's my first bodybuilding show.
And you were how old when you did it? Your first show?
82.
Dang.
What?
Now,
So you didn't
didn't
start
do
like
this
competing
Until you're
like
older.
with bodybuilding.
Wow.
last 3 years. That's it.
Oh my God.
I'm
that's
into my I'm
amazing.
into my fourth year now, and then in my second
That's
show,
incredible.
in
Do
my
they even
second
have an
show-
age group like
Yeah. Do they even have 85?
an
Oh, I'll tell you about that. My second show, Mike was also involved in that. Another second place. That was in where were we? Let's see, one Daytona, what was it? Tampa. That was in Tampa.
Okay.
And then, so for my third show, I got a first place. That was in Portagunda.
Ooh.
That was 2023.
Wow.
wow.
So you've been all over doing these. This
Right.
is for the last 3 years.
Yes.
Which you really could have
What's this
competed
one?
20 years before that.
This is the platform for this medal for my bodybuilding. That's
Okay.
an AAU. These are AAU.
Wow.
Okay.
Look at that.
When I broke that record.
That's amazing.
When I went to the AAU, the record for 58-year-olds was 370 pounds. it was a raw, no chemicals allowed, no wraps or anything.
Yeah.
And I broke that on the first lift. I just put 400 on it and 405 and did it. No big deal. I was
Did anyone
I was very strong
in your age bracket compete? Is there anyone in your age bracket that can compete?
I haven't
with
found
that?
any yet.
No, I haven't found any yet.
The funny story is when we were in when I won the first place in Portagunda, there was a guy, he was 71. And he found out I was going on stage. He said, I'm not going up there with you. It was funny.
I need to hook you up with my dad. My dad is 76, and he's
Crazy.
in great shape.
But not that great shape.
No, like he could use a little.
A lot.
Not really. He's freaking in great
It's
shape.
about-
Because he's a
He
runner.
still
He's not a
plays, like-
bodybuilder. Or
The problem with
weightlifter,
running
Dad.
is running will
He
break.
works at the gym, but he doesn't.
Yeah, he works
Running will
out,
break down your muscles as opposed to weightlifting will
He
build them up.
runs. He plays 3 hours of
Yeah.
pickleball every day.
So
That's all good.
He's in.
yeah,
great
but
shape.
running, I quit doing the long stuff because the running wears your hips out and your knee joints and your ankles and things like
Yes,
that.
I agree.
Shin
I
splints,
can't do
all that
that
kind
anymore.
of stuff.